The stars looked different here. Captain Wu Jin stood on the bridge of the Harmony's edge and watched the strange patterns of light through the main viewing screen. His ship had been traveling for 3 weeks to reach this empty space between the known worlds and the mysterious human territory. Wu Jin was tall for his people, with the blue-tinted skin that marked him as coming from the cold worlds near the galactic center. His uniform was simple and white, showing his rank as a diplomatic captain. The Catharan Federation trusted him with their most important missions. This one might be the most important of all. "Captain," said Dr. Yunbi from her science station. She was younger than Wu Jin, with the quick mind that made her the best xenobiologist in the fleet. "I am still reading those strange energy patterns from the human space. They are very different from anything we know." The Bridge of the Harmonies. Edge was quiet and peaceful. Soft blue lights lit the curved walls made of living crystal. Everything was smooth and organic, grown rather than built. The ship itself was a work of art, shaped like a flower with delicate petals that could fold space around them for faster travel. Lieutenant Da-Un looked up from her communications console. Her job was to talk to other species and make sure everyone understood each other. She had learned 17 different languages and could speak in ways that most aliens found friendly and safe. "Captain, I am picking up more of those radio signals from human space," Da-Un said. "They are using very simple technology, but the patterns are interesting. Some of them might be music." Wu Jin nodded. The humans were still a mystery to everyone. In the galaxy, they had appeared from a distant arm of the galaxy only 50 years ago. At first, other species thought they were just another primitive race that had barely learned to travel between stars. But strange reports kept coming in. Some traders said human ships were bigger than anything they had seen. Others said humans asked too many questions about weapons and defenses. A few species had tried to contact them, but the humans always seemed suspicious and careful. No one had made real contact yet. "What do we know about their technology level?" Wu Jin asked. Dr. Yunbi checked her readings. "From what I can tell, they should be at least 200 years behind us. Their energy signatures look primitive, but there is something strange about the way they use power. It is very focused and efficient." The Catharan Federation had been exploring the galaxy for over 1,000 years. They were known as the Great Peacemakers. When two species could not agree, they called the Catharans to help them find a solution. Wu Jin had helped end wars and start trade agreements on dozens of worlds. His people believed that all intelligent life wanted the same things: safety, food, friendship, and knowledge. Sometimes species fought because they were afraid or did not understand each other, but with patience and kindness, almost any problem could be solved. "Da-Un, start broadcasting our friendship messages," Wu Jin ordered. "Use the standard 17 languages. Make sure they know we come in peace." Da-Un's fingers moved over her console. The Harmony's edge began sending out signals in every language the Federation knew. The messages were simple. "We are friends. We want to talk. We will not hurt you." Dr. Yunbi was studying her long-range sensors. "Captain, I am reading something interesting about human biology. The reports say they come from a heavy gravity world with a very active star. Their bodies should be much stronger than most species. We know. Stronger how? Wu Jin asked. Their bones are very dense. Their muscles are built for high gravity. And their planet had many dangerous animals, so they had to learn to fight to survive. But that was long ago. They should be peaceful. Now, like most species that reach the stars, Lieutenant Mi Young spoke up from her position at the military station. She was the only armed officer on the ship, though her job was mostly to make sure their shields worked properly. Kitharan ships were not built for fighting. Captain, should I be worried about human military capability? Mi Young asked. Wu Jin smiled. Mi Young, we have never met a species that stayed warlike after they learned to travel between stars. War is too expensive and dangerous when you have whole planets to live on. The humans will be peaceful traders just like everyone else. The ship continued toward human space. Dr. Yunbi kept taking readings and making notes about everything they found. Da-Yun sent friendly messages and listened for replies. Mi Young watched her instruments to make sure they were safe. After 2 days of travel, they started picking up clearer signals from human space. The messages were in a language none of them had heard before, but the translation computers were starting to figure out the patterns. Captain, Da-Un said with excitement in her voice. I think I am getting actual words from their transmissions. They seem to be talking about shipping schedules and trade routes. Very normal stuff. See? Wu Jin said. Just peaceful traders like I thought. Dr. Yunbi frowned at her readings. Captain, there is something odd about their ship movements. The energy signatures are much larger than they should be for simple trade vessels, and they move in very organized patterns. Organized how? Like military formations. But that cannot be right. No one uses military formations for trade ships. Wu Jin thought about this. Maybe humans were just very careful about pirates. Some species had problems with raiders attacking their trade routes. That would explain why they moved their ships in protective groups. Da-Yun, have you gotten any replies to our friendship messages? Not yet, Captain. But I think they have heard us. Some of their transmissions have changed since we started broadcasting. The Harmony's edge dropped out of faster-than-light travel. At the edge of human space, Wu Jin wanted to be careful and polite. They would wait here and keep sending friendly messages until the humans felt safe enough to respond. This is it, Wu Jin announced to his crew. We are about to make history. The first official contact between the Kitharan Federation and humanity. Remember, we represent all the peaceful species of the galaxy. Let us show these humans what friendship looks like. The crew nodded and returned to their work. None of them knew that their ideas about humans were about to change completely. None of them could imagine what was waiting for them in the darkness ahead. The stars looked different here, and soon they would learn why. The alarm started 3 hours after they arrived in human space. Captain Wu Jin was in his ready room drinking tea and reading reports about other first contact missions when Lieutenant Da-Un's voice came through the communication system. Captain, to the bridge, please. We have contact. Wu Jin set down his cup and walked quickly to the bridge. His crew looked excited, but also confused. Dr. Yunbi was staring at her sensor readings like she could not believe what they said. Report, Wu Jin said as he took his place in the captain's chair. Sir, we got a response to our friendship messages, Da-un said. A human ship is coming to meet us, but... But what? Dr. Yunbi looked up from her console. Her face was pale. Captain, the energy readings from this ship are impossible. According to my sensors, it is putting out more power than our entire home fleet. Wu Jin frowned. Check your instruments. There must be an error. I have checked them 3 times, sir. The readings are correct. And, Captain, the ship is big. Really big. On the main screen, a small dot of light was growing larger as it approached them. At first, it looked like any other ship. But as it got closer, the crew of the Harmony's Edge began to understand that something was very wrong with their ideas about human technology. How big? Wu Jin asked. Dr. Unbi's voice was quiet. 15 kilometers long, sir. Maybe more. The bridge fell silent. The largest Catharan ship was only 2 kilometers long, and that was their great exploration vessel that took 50 years to build. This human ship was 7 times larger. That cannot be right, Lieutenant Mi Young said from her military station. No species builds ships that big. It would be too expensive, too hard to control. The readings do not lie, Dr. Yunbi replied. And it is not just big. The power output suggests weapon systems that could destroy planets. Captain Wu Jin felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Are you sure it is a ship and not a space station? It is moving too fast to be a station, sir, and the shape is wrong. This is definitely a ship designed for travel. On the screen, the object was close enough now to see details. It did not look like any ship the Kitharans had ever seen. Where their vessels were smooth and organic, this thing was all angles and hard edges. It bristled with things that could only be weapons. Huge guns stuck out from its hull like the spines of some metal beast. Dayun, what are they saying to us? Wu Jin asked. The message is simple, sir. They say unknown vessel. Identify yourself and state your intentions. Their tone is careful. Careful how? Like they are ready to fight if they need to. Dr. Yunbi was working frantically at her station. Captain, I am reading massive energy buildups all across their hull. Whatever those weapons are, they are powering up. Lieutenant Mi Young checked her own readings. Sir, our shields would not even slow down weapons of this size. If they wanted to destroy us, we could not stop them. The human ship was close enough now to fill most of the screen. It was gray and black, covered in armor plating that looked thick enough to stop anything the Catharans could imagine. Strange. Markings covered its hull, and bright lights showed where important systems were located. How many crew does a ship like that need? Wu Jin asked. Dr. Yunbi did quick calculations. Thousands, sir. Maybe tens of thousands. It is like a flying city. But humans are supposed to be primitive, Da-Yun said. All the reports said they barely knew how to build simple spaceships. The reports were wrong, Wu Jin said quietly. A new voice came through their communication system. It was speaking the human language, but their computers translated it into Kitharan. Unknown vessel, this is Commander J-Ho of the UES Indomitable. You are in restricted space. Identify yourself immediately or we will take defensive action. Wu Jin stood up. Dayun, open a channel. Let me talk to them. Channel open, sir. Commander J-Ho, this is Captain Wu Jin of the Kitharan Federation vessel Harmony's Edge. We come in peace seeking diplomatic contact with your species. We mean no harm. There was a long pause. Then the human voice came back. Kitharan Federation? We have no record of your species. Maintain your current position while we scan your vessel for threats. Dr. Yunbi looked at her readings again. Captain, they are scanning us with sensors I have never seen before. Very powerful, very detailed. They will know everything about our ship in minutes. Let them look, Wu Jin said. We have nothing to hide. But privately he was starting to worry. This was not going like any first contact mission he had ever heard of. Most species were happy to meet new friends. They were curious and welcoming. These humans seemed suspicious and ready for war. The human ship moved closer. Now they could see smaller ships flying around it like tiny guards. Each of those smaller ships was still bigger than the Harmony's Edge. Sir, Mi-young said, I am reading at least 50 escort vessels. Each one has enough firepower to destroy a small moon. And this is just one human ship? Da-un asked. According to their transmissions, yes, Dr. Yunbi replied. But, Captain, I am picking up references to something called the fleet. They seem to have many more ships. Wu Jin tried to stay calm. Maybe humans just liked big ships. Maybe their technology was more advanced than anyone thought. That did not mean they were dangerous. Lots of species had impressive technology but were still peaceful. The human commander's voice came through again. Captain Wu Jin, our scans show that your vessel is not armed for combat. However, you are carrying several unknown technologies. Explain the purpose of your visit. We are explorers and diplomats, Wu Jin replied. The Kitharan Federation makes contact with new species to offer friendship and trade. We want to welcome humanity to the galactic community. Another long pause. Galactic community? How many species are in this community? Over 400 intelligent species, Commander, all working together for peace and progress. This time, the pause was even longer. When Commander J-Ho spoke again, his voice sounded different. More interested, but also more careful. Captain Wu Jin, this is the first we have heard of such a large galactic community. We would like to learn more. However, given the sensitive nature of first contact, we must follow our protocols. Please stand by while we contact our superiors. The FA's communication channel closed. Dr. Yunbi looked at her captain. Sir, what kind of species needs protocols for peaceful contact? The kind that has learned to be very careful, Wu Jin replied. But he was beginning to wonder what had taught the humans to be so careful, and what kind of enemies required ships this big to fight them. The red lights started blinking first. Lieutenant Mi-young was watching her defense console when every alarm on the bridge began to sound at once. Captain, she shouted over the noise, we have multiple weapons locks. Captain Wu Jin spun in, his chair. What? From where? From the human ship, sir. They have targeted us with everything. Dr. Yunbi's hands flew over her science station. Captain, I am reading active targeting from at least 60 different weapon systems. Energy cannons, missile launchers, something called plasma batteries, and weapons I cannot even identify. The main screen lit up with red warning symbols. Each symbol showed where a human weapon was pointed at their ship. There were so many red marks that the Harmony's edge looked like it was covered in blood. "Da-Yun, get me Commander J-Ho now," Wu Jin ordered. "I am trying, sir, but they are not responding to our calls." On the UES Indomitable, Commander J-Ho stood in the center of his command bridge. Unlike the peaceful, organic design of the Kitharin ship, this bridge was built for war. Dark metal walls were covered with screens showing weapons status, enemy positions, and tactical data. Everything was designed to help humans fight and win battles. "Weapons status," J-Ho said to his tactical officer. Lieutenant Dong-Wu checked his displays. "All primary batteries locked on target, sir. Main guns charged and ready. The alien ship is completely covered by our firing solutions." "What about their defenses?" "Sir, they do not seem to have any real defenses. Their shields are so weak we could punch through them with our point defense guns. Their hull looks like it is made for exploration, not combat." J-Ho studied the alien ship on his screen. It was beautiful in a strange way, all curves and crystal, like something that had grown instead of being built. It looked peaceful and harmless. But he had learned not to trust appearances. "Sir," said his communications officer, Ensign Bo Ram, "the aliens are trying to contact us. They sound worried." "Let them wait," J-Ho replied. "I want a full analysis of their technology before we talk again." "Subin, what do your weapons scanners tell you?" Lieutenant Subin was the ship's weapons officer. She was small but deadly, with the quick reflexes that made her one of the best gunners in the fleet. "Sir, this is the strangest thing I have ever seen. They have no armor, no serious shields, and no weapons bigger than what we use for cleaning space debris. Could it be a trick? Hidden weapons?" "I do not think so, sir. Our scans go right through their hull. If they have weapons, they are very well hidden or very small." Back on the Harmony's edge, Captain Wu Jin was trying to understand what was happening. His ship had never been targeted by weapons before. The Kitharans had not fought a real war in over 500 years. "Mi Young, can we defend ourselves?" he asked. Lieutenant Mi Young looked at her readings and shook her head. "Sir, we have light shields for protection against space rocks and radiation. Against weapons like these, we might as well have no protection at all." "Can we run?" "Not fast enough, sir. Their ship is faster than us, and those escort vessels could catch us easily." Dr. Yunbi was working at her station trying to understand the human technology. "Captain, I think I know why they are pointing weapons at us." "Explain." "Sir, humans seem to come from a part of space where war is normal. Look at their ship design. Every single part of it is built for fighting. The engines are protected by armor. The weapons can fire in all directions. Even their communication systems are hardened against attack." "So they think we might attack them?" "I think they always assume someone might attack them, sir. It is how they think." Lieutenant Da Yun finally got through to the human ship. Commander J-Ho's voice came through their speakers, calm and professional. Captain Wu Jin, this is Commander J-Ho. Please remain in position while we complete our security. Scan. Commander, Wu Jin replied, trying to keep his voice steady. Why are you pointing weapons at us? We told you we come in peace. Standard procedure, Captain. We target all unknown vessels until we determine they are not a threat. Our scans show your ship is not armed, so you should have nothing to worry about, Dr. Yunbi whispered to her captain. Sir, he says this is standard procedure. They point weapons at everyone they meet. Commander J-Ho, Wu Jin said, in our culture, pointing weapons at peaceful visitors is considered very rude. Could you please lower your weapon so we can talk properly? There was a pause. Then J-Ho's voice came back, sounding a little confused. Captain, our weapons are not lowered, but they are not set to fire automatically. We maintain targeting. Locks for defensive purposes. This is normal for first contact situations. Normal? Da-Un whispered. What kind of galaxy do they live in where this is normal? On the Indomitable, Commander J-Ho was having his own moment of confusion. He turned to his first officer, Lieutenant Commander Nam-Ho. Nam-Ho, do we know anything about first contact procedures for peaceful species? Sir, our protocols assume that anyone we meet might be hostile. We have never encountered a species that was not ready to fight. These aliens seem genuinely surprised by our weapons. Maybe they really are peaceful. Lieutenant Subin looked up from her station. Sir, should I power down the main guns? J-Ho thought about it. Every species humanity had met so far had tried to attack them, trick them, or take advantage of them. The Vegan hegemony had attacked human colonies without warning. The machine intelligences in the Outer Rim were still trying to destroy all organic life. Even the traders they met usually tried to cheat them or steal their technology. But these aliens seemed different. Their ship was obviously not built for war. They had come alone with no escort, broadcasting messages of friendship. Either they were very good actors, or they really were peaceful. Subin, power down the main weapons, but keep the point defense systems active. If they try anything, we can still defend ourselves. Yes, sir. Back on the Harmony's edge, Dr. Yunbi watched her sensors as some of the human weapons powered down. Captain, they have reduced their weapons lock. Some of the big guns are no longer targeting us. That is a good sign, Wu Jin said. Da-Un thanked them for their courtesy. Already done, sir. But Lieutenant Mi Young was still worried. Captain, even with some weapons powered down, they still have enough firepower pointed at us to destroy a small fleet. What kind of enemies do humans fight that they need ships like this? It was a good question, and as Captain Wu Jin looked at the massive human warship on his screen, he began to realize that humanity might be very different from any species the Catharan Federation had ever encountered. The question was, different how? And what did that mean for the rest of the galaxy? The translation computers finally started working properly after 6 hours of careful talk between the two ships. Captain Wu Jin sat in his ready room speaking directly with Commander J-Ho through a video link. The human commander looked tired but interested. So your Federation has over 400 member species? J-Ho asked. He was a middle-aged human with gray hair and scars on his face that suggested he had seen many battles. "Yes, Commander. We have been bringing species together for over 1,000 years. Most join us because they want peace and the benefits of working with others. And none of them have ever tried to conquer the others." Wu Jin was surprised by the question. Why would they? When species work together, everyone gets richer and safer. War is expensive and destroys things that take years to build. On the human ship, Commander Jae-ho looked at his officers. Lieutenant Commander Nam-ho shook his head slightly. In their experience, most species tried to take what they wanted by force. The idea of 400 different races working together peacefully seemed almost impossible. "Captain Wu Jin," Jae-ho said, "I need to ask you something important. Has your Federation ever been attacked by outside forces?" "Attacked? You mean war?" Wu Jin thought about it. "There have been some disputes between member species, but we always solve them through negotiation. We have not fought a real war in over 500 years. The humans on the bridge looked at each other. 500 years of peace? In their part of space, 500 days without a battle was considered a long time. "What about non-member species?" Jae-ho asked. "Aggressive races that want to take your territory or resources?" "We invite them to join us. Most say yes eventually. It is better to be part of a large, peaceful community than to stay alone and poor." Dr. Yunbi was listening to the conversation from her science station. She could see that the humans found these ideas confusing. In her reports, she had noticed that everything about human technology was designed for fighting. Their ships, their language, even their social structure seemed built around conflict. "Commander," she said, joining the conversation, "may I ask about your ship? It seems very heavily armed for a peaceful mission." Commander Jae-ho smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Dr. Yunbi, the Indomitable is a patrol ship. We use it to protect our trade routes and colonies from attack." "Attack from whom?" "Many different enemies. The Vegan hegemony has been trying to destroy us for 30 years. Machine intelligences from outside our galaxy want to eliminate all organic life. Pirates attack our merchant ships. And there are other things in deep space that are even worse." Lieutenant Daeun was translating the conversation for the bridge crew. She looked confused by some of the words. "Captain, what is a machine intelligence?" "Artificial minds that build robot armies," Wu Jin explained. "But they should not be a problem if you just talk to them and explain that you do not want to fight." On the human ship, Lieutenant Su Bin made a sound that might have been laughter. "Captain," she said to Jae-ho, "should I tell him about the Cleaner War?" "Not yet," Jae-ho replied. He turned back to the video link. "Captain Wu Jin, I think there might be some basic differences between your part of space and ours. In our experience, some enemies cannot be reasoned with. They attack because that is what they do. But surely if you offered them something they wanted, what they want is for us to be dead." The silence that followed was uncomfortable. Dr. Yunbi tried to imagine living in a place where other species actually wanted to kill you for no reason. It seemed impossible and horrible. "Commander," Wu Jin said finally, "how do your people survive in such a dangerous place?" We build ships like this one, Jeho replied simply. Lieutenant Mi Young had been listening carefully. Commander, can you tell us more about your ship, for our records? Jeho looked at his officers. Namho nodded slightly. Basic ship information was not classified. The Indomitable is a Titan-class dreadnought. It carries a crew of 12,000. Main weapons include plasma cannons, antimatter missiles, and gravitational torpedoes. It can operate for 2 years without resupply and can destroy planets if necessary. The bridge of the Harmony's edge went completely quiet. Destroy planets? Dr. Yunbi whispered. Only if we have to, Jeho said quickly. Usually we use that capability to break up asteroids or deal with contaminated worlds, but yes, we can crack a planet if our survival depends on it. Captain Wu Jin felt sick. A single human ship could destroy an entire world. How many ships did humanity have? How much destructive power did they control? Commander, how many ships like this does your species operate? Jeho paused. This was getting into sensitive information. But these aliens seemed genuinely peaceful, and they had a right to know what they were dealing with. We have 3,000 ships of this class or larger, he said finally. Dr. Yunbi made a small sound and sat down heavily. 3,000 ships that could destroy planets. The entire Ketheran Federation had less than 50 ships total, and none of them could do more than damage a city. And smaller ships? Wu Jin asked, though he was not sure he wanted to know. About 30,000 combat vessels of various sizes, plus support ships, transports, and civilian vessels. Lieutenant Daun was doing math in her head. Captain, she whispered, humans have more warships than our entire Federation has ships of any kind. Why? Wu Jin asked. Why do you need so many weapons? Commander Jeho's expression became sad and serious. Captain, humanity has been fighting for its survival since we first left our home world. Every colony we build gets attacked. Every trade route needs protection. Every peaceful mission requires armed escort because someone always tries to kill our diplomats. But who? Why? Some species see us as a threat because we are strong. Others want our technology or our territory. The machine intelligences think all organic life is a disease that needs to be cured, and some enemies attack us just because they can. Dr. Yunbi was taking notes as fast as she could. Commander, has humanity ever tried joining a larger political group, like our Federation? We have never been invited to join anything, Dr. Yunbi. Most species either attack us or run away when they see our ships. You are the first ones to actually want to talk. The conversation continued for another hour. Slowly, both sides began to understand how different their experiences had been. The Ketherans lived in a peaceful part of space where species solved problems by talking. The humans lived in a war zone where survival meant being stronger than everyone who wanted to hurt you. Captain Wu Jin, Commander Jeho said as the meeting ended, I need to report this contact to my superiors. They will want to send a proper diplomatic ship to meet with your Federation. A diplomatic ship? Wu Jin asked hopefully. Yes. Though I should warn you, our diplomatic ships are also heavily armed. We learned long ago that diplomats need protection, After the communication ended, Captain Wu Jin sat alone in his ready room. Everything he thought he knew about the galaxy was changing. Somewhere out there, humanity was fighting wars against enemies that could not be reasoned with. And they had become very, very good at fighting back. The question now was, what did this mean for the peaceful species of the Federation? 3 days later, Dr. Yunbi was still interviewing members of the human crew. Captain Wu Jin had agreed to let some of his people visit the Indomitable, while some humans came to see the Harmony's edge. The cultural exchange was teaching both sides things they had never imagined. Dr. Yunbi sat in a conference room aboard the human ship with Chief Engineer Nam Ho. The room was built like everything else on the ship, strong, practical, and ready for battle. Even the chairs could lock down if the ship had to fight while people were meeting. So every human colony has its own defense fleet? Dr. Yunbi asked. Nam Ho nodded. He was a big man, with hands that showed years of working on ship engines. Every world, every station, every mining operation, we learned early that if you cannot defend yourself, someone will come and take what you have. But that must be so expensive. Think of all the resources you could use for science or art or exploration. We do those things too, Nam Ho said. But staying alive comes first. Hard to do science if you are dead. Dr. Yunbi was taking notes on her portable computer. Everything about human society was built around the idea that someone was always trying to hurt them. Their children learned to fight before they learned to read. Their cities had walls and weapons. Even their merchant ships carried guns. "Can you tell me about the enemies you fight?" she asked. Nam Ho's face became dark. "The worst are the cleaners. They are machine intelligences from outside our galaxy. They think organic life is messy and needs to be eliminated. They show up, destroy everything alive on a planet, then move on to the next world. Have you tried talking to them?" "Many times. They do not care about talking. They just want us dead." Dr. Yunbi tried to imagine machines that killed for no reason other than they thought life was untidy. It was like a nightmare. "How do you fight something like that?" "Very carefully and with lots of firepower. A single cleaner ship can destroy a fleet if you are not ready for it. But we have learned their weaknesses. We can beat them now. But it takes everything we have." Meanwhile, on the Harmony's edge, Lieutenant Subin was talking with Lieutenant Mi Young about weapons and defense. The Catharan ship's armory was tiny compared to what Subin was used to. "These are your only weapons?" Subin asked, looking at the small energy tools that Catharans use to clear space debris. "We have never needed anything bigger," Mi Young replied. "When there is a problem, we talk about it until we find a solution everyone likes." Subin picked up one of the Catharan tools. It was beautifully made, but it could barely scratch the paint on a human ship. What if someone does not want to talk? What if they just start shooting? That has never happened. Never? Not in my lifetime. Not in my grandmother's lifetime. The Federation has been peaceful for hundreds of years. Subin set down the tool and looked around the armory. On her ship, this room would hold enough weapons to level a city. Here it held tools for fixing things and cleaning up space junk. "Mi Young, can I ask you something personal?" "Of course. Are you not afraid? Living with so few defenses? What if something bad came to your worlds? Mi Young thought about it. The question had never occurred to her before meeting the humans. I suppose we always believed that reasonable people can solve any problem by working together. Violence just makes things worse. That is a beautiful way to think, Subin said. I wish we could live like that. Back in the conference room, Dr. Yunbi was learning about human history. Nam-Ho had brought some video files that showed major battles humanity had fought. This was the Battle of New Geneva, Nam-Ho explained, as the screen showed human ships fighting something that looked like living metal. The Vegan hegemony tried to take one of our agricultural worlds. We lost 30 ships, but we stopped them. Dr. Yunbi watched in horror as ships exploded and thousands of people died in seconds. Why did they attack you? They said we were using the planet wrong, that we should give it to them because they deserved it more. Could you not have shared? The planet? We offered. They said no. They wanted us gone. The video showed more battles. Humans fighting robot armies, defending space stations against creatures that seemed to be made of energy, protecting civilian ships from pirates who killed for sport. Each battle was desperate, with humans using every weapon and trick they knew just to survive. Nam-Ho, Dr. Yunbi said quietly, how do your people stay hopeful? How do you keep going when everything wants to kill you? The big engineer smiled for the first time since they had been talking. Because we are not alone anymore. We have each other. And maybe now we have friends like you. Dr. Yunbi felt tears in her eyes. She was starting to understand that humans were not naturally violent. They had been forced to become strong because the alternative was death. Lieutenant Da-Yun was having her own conversation with Ensign Bo-Ram in the Human Communication Center. The room was full of equipment that could talk to ships across the galaxy, but it was also hardened against enemy attack. Your communication systems are very advanced, Da-Un said. But why are they so heavily protected? Because enemies try to jam our signals during battle, Bo-Ram explained. If we cannot talk to each other, we cannot coordinate our defense. In the Federation, our communication networks are open to everyone. All species can use them freely. That sounds wonderful. But what if someone uses your network to send false information or to spy on you? Da-Yun had never thought about that. In her experience, people used communication networks to share knowledge and make friends. The idea that someone would use them to hurt others was strange and sad. As the day went on, both crews learned more about each other. The humans were amazed by the Catharans' peaceful society, their beautiful art, and their advanced science. The Catharans were horrified by the human stories of war, but they were also impressed by human courage, determination, and loyalty to each other. That evening, Captain Wu Jin and Commander Jae-ho had dinner together aboard the Harmony's Edge. The Catharan dining room was elegant and peaceful, with plants growing on the walls and soft music playing. Your ship is beautiful, Jae-ho said as he tried the alien food. Everything is designed to make people feel calm and happy. Thank you. Your ship is very impressive too, though in a different way. Built for war, Jae-ho said sadly. I sometimes wonder what we could build if we did not have to fight all the time. Maybe now you will not have to, Wu Jin suggested. The Federation is large and strong. We could help protect your people. Jae-ho smiled, but he shook his head. Captain, I appreciate the offer, but our enemies are not like anything your Federation has faced. They do not want to negotiate or trade. They want to destroy everything we have built. Then we will learn to fight them too. I hope you never have to. As they ate, both captains realized that this meeting was changing everything. The humans had found allies who shared their values of peace and cooperation. The Catharans had found protectors who could defend the peaceful life they loved. But they both knew that the galaxy was about to become a very different place. 1 week after first contact, both ships were preparing for the journey to Earth. The humans had agreed to send Commander Jae-ho and the Indomitable as escorts for the Kitharan diplomatic mission. Captain Wu Jin was excited, but also nervous, about what they would find in the human home system. Dr. Yunbi was putting together her final report on human society. After days of interviews and cultural exchange, she felt like she understood something important about these strange, powerful people. Captain, she said, as Wu Jin reviewed her notes, I think we have been looking at this situation the wrong way. How do you mean? We kept thinking that humans were naturally violent or aggressive. But that is not true. They are naturally protective. Wu Jin looked up from the report. Explain. Everything they do is about keeping their people safe. They build big ships not because they want to attack others, but because they need to defend themselves. They carry powerful weapons not because they like war, but because war keeps finding them. And the difference is important. Very important, sir. It means humans are not our enemies. They are potential guardians for all the peaceful species in the galaxy. Meanwhile, aboard the Indomitable, Commander Jae-ho was having his own discussions with his crew. They had been ordered to escort the aliens to Earth, but many of his officers were worried about revealing the location of humanity's home world to strangers. Sir, Lieutenant Subin said during a staff meeting, are we sure we can trust them? What if this is some kind of trick? What kind of trick? Jae-ho asked. Maybe they are spies for one of our enemies. The Vegans or the Cleaners could have sent them to find Earth. Lieutenant Commander Nam-ho shook his head. Subin, have you seen their ship? It is not built for spying or fighting, and their people are genuinely peaceful. I have never met anyone so committed to avoiding violence. That could be an act. For a week straight? Including when they thought we were not watching? No one is that good an actor. Jae-ho listened to his officers debate. He understood their caution. Humanity had been betrayed before by species that seemed friendly at first. But the Kitharans were different. Their technology, their culture, their whole way of thinking was built around cooperation and peace. I have made my decision, he said finally. We will take them to Earth, but we will also send messages ahead to prepare our defenses just in case. The journey to Earth took 5 days at faster-than-light speed. During the trip, both crews continued to learn from each other. The humans taught the Kitharans about defensive tactics and survival techniques. The Kitharans taught the humans about art, philosophy, and peaceful problem-solving. Lieutenant Da Yun was especially interested in human music. She discovered that humans had created some of their most beautiful songs during their worst wars. When she asked Ensign Boram about this, the human woman smiled sadly. "Music helps us remember what we are fighting for," Boram explained. "When everything is dark and scary, a beautiful song reminds us that there are still good things in the universe worth protecting." On the last day of the journey, Captain Wu Jin stood on the bridge of the Harmony's edge as Earth appeared on the main screen. He had expected to see a heavily fortified world surrounded by defensive platforms and weapons. What he saw was much more complex. Earth was beautiful. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown continents. But around the planet was the largest collection of ships and space stations Wu Jin had ever seen. Thousands of vessels moved in careful patterns, protecting the world below. "Dr. Yunbi," he said softly, "how many ships do you count?" Dr. Yunbi worked at her sensors for several minutes. "Captain, I cannot get an exact number. There are too many. At least 10,000 combat vessels, maybe more, plus civilian ships, cargo haulers, passenger transports, construction vessels. It is like the entire galaxy has come to visit one planet." Commander Jae-ho's voice came over the communication system. "Captain Wu Jin, welcome to Earth. As you can see, we take home defense seriously. Commander, this is incredible. Your entire species lives here?" "Oh no, Captain. Earth only has about 12 billion people. Most humans live on colony worlds throughout our territory. But Earth is our home, so we protect it well." As they approached the planet, Wu Jin saw that the defensive fleet was not just sitting there, waiting for enemies. Ships were coming and going constantly. Some were bringing supplies from the colonies. Others were taking families and goods to new worlds. Many were warships heading out to patrol the borders or protect trade routes. "It is like a huge, peaceful city," Lieutenant Dayun observed. "Except that every building can fight a war." They were escorted to a space station orbiting Earth. The station was as big as a small moon, with docking bays for hundreds of ships. As their shuttle approached the docking port, Dr. Yunbi noticed something that surprised her. "Captain, look at the other ships docked here." Wu Jin looked out the shuttle window. He saw human vessels of every size and type, but he also saw ships that were clearly built by other species. Strange designs, different technologies, alien construction methods. "Commander Jae-ho," he asked over the radio, "who do those other ships belong to?" "Refugees, mostly," Jae-ho replied. "Species whose worlds were destroyed by the Cleaners or conquered by the Vegans. We give them shelter until they can find new homes." "How many refugees?" "About 3 million beings from 40. Different species. We are not the only ones who have enemies, Captain." As they docked with the station, Wu Jin realized that humanity was not just defending themselves. They were defending anyone who needed protection. They had become the guardians of this entire region of space. The greeting ceremony was held in a large chamber designed to accommodate many different types of life forms. Humans, aliens, and artificial intelligences worked together to welcome the Catharan delegation. Admiral Hae Jin, the commander of Earth's defenses, gave a speech about friendship and cooperation. "Captain Wu Jin," she said, "humanity is honored to meet the Kitharan Federation. We hope this is the beginning of a long alliance between our peoples." "Admiral," Wu Jin replied, "after seeing your home system, I believe our Federation has much to learn from humanity. You have created something remarkable here. A fortress that protects not just your own people, but anyone who needs safety." Dr. Yunbi presented her cultural analysis to the human leaders. She explained how the Kitharan Federation worked, how they brought species together peacefully, and how they solved conflicts through negotiation rather than force. "This could change everything," Admiral Hyojin said after reading the report. "If we could join such a federation, we might finally have allies who share our values. And if the Federation could have protectors like humanity," Wu Jin replied, "we might finally be able to expand into regions of space that are too dangerous for peaceful species." As the ceremony ended, both sides knew they were witnessing the beginning of something new. The peaceful, diplomatic Kitharan Federation would gain the protection of humanity's mighty fleets. The battle-hardened humans would gain the friendship and cooperation of hundreds of peaceful species. Commander Jae-ho found Captain Wu Jin standing on an observation deck, looking out at Earth through a large window. "Beautiful world," Wu Jin said. "Worth defending," Jae-ho replied. "Indeed. And now, perhaps, we can defend it together." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the blue planet turn slowly below them. Around them, thousands of ships moved in complex patterns, carrying people and goods and hope throughout the galaxy. For the first time in generations, both humans and Kitharans could imagine a future where peace and strength worked together to protect all the good things in the universe. The stars looked different now. They looked safer,